slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. Everything I do so instinctive and so passionate. Every word I move so descriptive like an adjective. I got a vendetta against people who patented being negative when you should be getting after it. I got facts over tracks, this and that. Spitting slow, spitting fast. I could roast, I could gas. Think I'm okay at last, but I don't know if that can erase all the past. And the pettiness, a reflection of the emptiness. Hilarious, you think you're worth my time, you're delirious. Mysterious, because you hide behind a fake exterior. Inferior, you know I'll always be a bit superior. Get off of me, this ain't no humble brag. I want you to hear words, you can say them back. I want you to feel free from the chains at last, and to believe in what you got, it was built to last, yeah.
Now that I've been put through hell, I never got anyone's help. I had to do it all myself.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fake.
They are the best team ever.
Let's return to innocence.
Game 4, next.
This is the NBA on NBC. The 1996 NBA Finals.
A sparkling June evening in Seattle, the Emerald City they call it, but even the great and powerful Oz might be stumped for ideas as to how the Sonics can deal with these Chicago Bulls. Hi again, everybody. Bob Costas at the Key Arena, and perhaps the man behind the curtain would tell the Sonics they'll need all the heart, brains, and courage they can muster tonight just to salvage a game in this series, just to keep the Bulls in town another couple of days, just to make Chicago wait before it can celebrate. At the end of the regular season, the Bulls displayed these hats. Here we go, 72-10. Don't mean a thing without the ring. Well, how does 87-11 sound to you? That would be the final arithmetic if the Bulls complete the sweep tonight. Their 15-1 postseason mark would represent an even better percentage than their record-setting regular season. They would have won 8 straight from Seattle and Orlando, the teams with the second and third best records in the league. We will never know how the Bulls would have done against the greatest teams of the past, but we do know this: no team has ever steamrolled its competition like this. So it is the misfortune of the Seattle Supersonics to be in their way. Seattle, a 64-win team. No team has ever won that many without winning the title. But against this historic Bulls team, Seattle may be about to exit the finals without winning a game. Another measure of the Bulls' stunning superiority over this year's NBA. The tip-off for Game 4 is 12 minutes away now. Marv Albert, Matt Guokas, and Bill Walton will call it, and we'll turn it over to them when we return to Key Arena after this. Closing in now on Game 4 of the NBA Finals at Key Arena in Seattle, the Chicago Bulls and the Seattle Supersonics. Now, counting the playoffs, the Sonics are 44-6 on their home floor this season. And yet the Bulls are solid favorites tonight to make it 4 in a row in the series and 2 in a row in this building. The gentlemen who will call the game are Bill Walton, Matt Guokas, and Marv Albert. Already an auspicious occasion for Marv, who tonight is celebrating his 39th birthday for an NBA record 14th consecutive year. Congratulations, Marvelous.
Thank you, Bob. A record held by many.
Happy birthday.
Oh, thank you very much. Guys, you look back at the first 3 games of this series. Game 3 on Sunday night. Michael Jordan, for the first time, truly had a dominating game. And in all 3 games of this series, Michael had much help from his teammates.
Michael is always in the middle of things. And yes, others have made some major contributions. In Game 1, it was Toni Kukoc coming off the bench with a spark, finding his three-point stroke, and making plays as well, scoring 18 points and handing out 4 assists. In Game 2, Dennis Rodman put on a rebounding clinic as he tied a finals record with 11 offensive boards. In Game 3, Luke Longley got the Bulls off to a lightning-fast start, hitting a career playoff high 19 points. No question, Michael Jordan is the centerpiece of the Chicago Bulls, but he does get a lot of help from his friends.
And Bill, over the first 3 games, the Sonics have faltered in every aspect of their game. They have been overwhelmed.
Marv, this has turned out to be one of the most lopsided series in NBA Finals history, and George Karl finds himself in a Humpty Dumpty-like situation trying to gather around the pieces of his rapidly splintering team, and it's not been pretty. But after a terrific regular season, their game has disappeared. Their steals, where they've led the league for the last 4 years, they're down by half. Their assists are also down by half. They're not moving the ball around, and they're not shooting the ball. 10% down from their regular season and 20% down from when they played their best basketball of the season against Houston. Now, Seattle tonight is playing for pride, respect, and credibility, not just in this series, but for the long term as well. On the positive side, Marv, Seattle, at least they're making their free throws.
All right, so coming up, it's Game 4 of the NBA Finals. When we come back, the introduction of the starting lineups.
The NBA on NBC is brought to you by Miller Lite. With a great taste of an ice-cold Miller Lite, life is good. By Genuine Chevrolet, the cars more Americans trust. And by DirecTV, satellite TV at its best.
It is a beautiful 67-degree day here in Seattle, and right now we're set to join with the public address voice of the Seattle Sonics, Jim Gracie.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for our national anthem, performed tonight by one of the most popular recording artists of the modern era. This multi-talented musician and star of both stage and screen has produced 1 gold, 4 platinum, and 3 multi-platinum albums, along with 2 Grammy Awards. Accompanied tonight by guitarist Jonathan Dubose Jr. Please give a warm Sonics welcome to Columbia recording artist Harry Connick Jr.
Thank you. I want everybody to sing with me, all right? Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming. Come on. And the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Key Arena at Seattle Center for Game 4 of the 1996 NBA Finals between the Chicago Bulls and your Seattle Supersonics. And now, ladies and gentlemen, for tonight's starting lineups. First of all, for the visiting Chicago Bulls. A 6'6" guard from North Carolina, number 23, Michael Jordan. A 6'6" guard from Miami, Ohio, number 9, Ron Harper. 7'2" center from New Mexico, number 13, Luke Longley. 6'7" forward from Central Arkansas, number 33, Scottie Pippen. And a 6'6" forward from Southeast Oklahoma State, number 91, Dennis Rodman. And the head coach for the Chicago Bulls, Phil Jackson.
To be a factor here tonight. They were taken out of it early in Game 3 on Sunday. For more on the Sonics and the Bulls, let's check in with our sideline reporters, Ahmad Rashad and Hannah Storm. First, to Ahmad.
All right, thanks, Mark. I've been around the Chicago Bulls team all day, and they are very serious, very quiet. Scottie Pippen described the mood as wary because he said he realizes that they have not seen the best of the Sonic team. Now, the question that's been circling around this team is, are they the best team in history? Steve Kerr said, we don't concern ourselves with history. We're just trying to win a championship. Michael Jordan told me that the reality is they only have to win one of the next 4, and hopefully we can win it here tonight. For the Seattle side of it, let's go down to Hannah.
Thanks, Ahmad. Lots of changes for the Supersonics. You just saw that Frank Brickowski is starting at center in place of Ervin Johnson. Another defensive adjustment. Defensive Player of the Year, Gary Payton, will start the game guarding Michael Jordan. That's a matchup many have wanted to see this entire series. Also, Payton's backup, the co-captain, Nate McMillan, who hasn't played since Game 1 because of a herniated disc in his back, is suited up and ready to play in the game today. He said he hopes to give the Bulls something to think about, even if he can't be effective. And finally, Vincent Askew. He's missed a practice and a media session in the last couple of days, reportedly unhappy with his minutes. He told me the real problem is bone spurs in his right foot. But whatever the case, says George Karl, we'll see David Wingate come off the bench before we see Askew. Marv?
Thank you, Hannah. So Frank Brickowski in the starting lineup. The last time he started, December 12th in Dallas, made 8 starts during the regular season. The officials, Joe Crawford, Mike Mathis, and Bill Oakes. So we're set for Game 4 of this best of 7. The Bulls seeking a sweep for their 4th championship. The last 6 years, the Sonics hoping to push it to a Game 5 on Friday. And Scottie Pippen able to control the opening tip. The Chicago Bulls have not trailed in the last 72 minutes, 42 seconds. The last time the Bulls trailed, the end of the 2nd quarter, back in Game 2. Rodman with the first shot. And Brickowski with the rebound. Gary Payton met by Ron Harper. And the crowd gets right to it. Here is Payton. Just did get a piece of the rim, but it was saved. And Payton not able to hit. Harper over Brickowski. And last touch by the Bulls.
But 2 offensive rebound opportunities for Rodman right off the back. Still, Seattle has not made the correct adjustments to box him out. Gary Payton, 2 3-point shots on the first possession. How about getting to the hoop and creating something for someone else?
And Payton is 1 for 12 from downtown in the series. Leg block is called. The Sonics get a new 24.
Talking with Phil Jackson before the game, he was saying how concerned he is with all the hoopla surrounding this game, the talk of a sweep, all the preparation for post-game celebration. He is really worried about the team looking so far ahead.
We are just underway here in Seattle. Brickowski was about to tee it up for 3. Schremm rebounded by Pippen.
Seattle is yet to attack the basket. They're just standing behind the line. You got to make those, and those are set up by penetration and dish.
And Jordan met by Hersey Hawkins. It is a blocking foul on Hawkins.
Well, Michael Jordan was picked up by Hawkins in transition. Hersey did the right thing by staying with him, but Gary Payton will have the initial defensive responsibility. Michael realizes it now, and usually when he has that smaller man, he will go right into the post.
Interesting. Ahmad said Michael told him they only need 1 out of 4. Michael told us he's got things he's got to get done. He's ready to take care of business.
And here is Jordan. So the Bulls with a 2-0 lead. Are you saying that he's not leveling with Ahmad? It was strictly a put on, is that?
Absolutely not. But Michael's very serious about taking care of business in the post. Gary Payton trying to front him. George Karl working with the team on trying to front the post-up players, but Jordan turns to his left shoulder better than anyone in history, in addition to Jerry West.
Foul was committed by Rodman. 2 minutes gone by here at Key Arena. Open shot for Schrempf. And back come the Bulls, so the Sonics have missed on their first 4 shot attempts.
Well, Schrempf looks like he's just so tentative with his shot. Not comfortable at all, not confident.
And Matt, with Detief in the locker room beforehand, it was disappointing to see the somber, almost defeated attitude of the Sonics.
Shawn Kemp from Gary Payton. And that ties the game at 2.
Well, that is Seattle basketball, and we have seen very little of that. Transition, playing above the rim. Shawn Kemp receiving from Payton.
Here is Longley, Luke Longley, coming off a playoff career high, 19 points in game number 3. The Bulls are gunning for a 6th straight win on the road in the finals. 5 straight already ties an NBA record held by the Detroit Pistons, who did it back in 89 and 90. Pippen did penetrate, could not convert. Kemp missing the 2 opportunities. And Mike Mathis with a loose ball foul call on Shawn Kemp.
Oh, great board work by both teams. In particular, Shawn Kemp working hard on the glass, and Luke Longley getting a piece of that first one. Rodman in there battling as both the players are going at it very hard.
Matt, it's very difficult for Shawn Kemp in that situation. Oh, Jordan to the hoop.
And Rodman able to convert. Seattle has opened up 1 of 8 from the field, and the Bulls lead 6-2. Here on Sunday night, the Bulls opened up with a 19-4 lead to diffuse the crowd. Crowd very much into it right here. Payton from three-point range.
Well, the Bulls starting to respect Shawn Kemp's post ability. He's getting the ball so deep. Harper had to come down to double team and let Payton open once again.
The call against Chicago. Offensive foul on Michael Jordan for using the right arm.
Jordan trying to post up here. The great ones, Jabbar, Bird, McHale, Magic, they all used that off arm to establish that position. The harder you work early, the easier it's going to be late.
George Karl was saying after Game 3 that his team had no energy at all in Game 3. Brickowski for 3. Waved off, will not count. Offensive foul against Seattle. Schrempf called for the offensive foul.
Well, the three-pointers have been few and far between for Seattle, and here Brickowski finally nails one, and then an off-the-ball foul. It's been going that way for the Sonics.
Brickowski hit one earlier in the series. Jordan. And Hawkins took it away from Rodman. Rodman complaining to Crawford and is hit with an early tee, and you can see that the officials are not going to accept anything from Dennis Rodman.
A no-brainer there in Game 1. Dennis Rodman gave the two-hand wave to Joe Crawford early and picked up the technical. Here he felt he was pushed over the top, and then looking and talking to Crawford at the way and putting the hand up. Joe Crawford couldn't wait to blow that whistle to nail Rodman and try to keep him under control with that first technical.
Rodman just walked over to Crawford, who was in a discussion now with Jordan, and was ushered aside by Jordan, and then Pippen over to guide him away. Hersey Hawkins has tied the game at 6.
But Marv, besides wishing you another happy birthday,
oh, thank you, Bill.
I didn't realize I was older than you.
These things happen.
You had to see Rodman, or anticipate Rodman wanting that technical to draw that attention to himself early, make himself a factor.
There is Kemp. Nice move by Shawn Kemp. And the Sonics have taken the lead for the first time since the end of the second quarter in Game 2. Jordan's shot blocked by Kemp. And it will be Seattle in possession. Five minutes gone by in this opening quarter. Schrempf is way off. And Dennis Rodman able to collar his first rebound.
That last post-up move by Schrempf indicative of the tentative nature of Seattle's game. Unlike Shawn Kemp the previous time when he stepped around and got strongly to the hoop.
Oh, what a fake by Scottie Pippen. He lost the defender and then was able to go glass to tie the game at 8.
These are the matchups that you would think would have come out in Game 1. Seattle has finally got back to basic basketball.
Hersey Hawkins just can't find the range, but able to hang in to make the defensive play, and it leads to the bucket by Kemp.
Well, Scottie Pippen had Jordan racing down the left side, Harper on the right, gambled with the pass. Hawkins has made a better play.
Sonics with a 2-point lead. Kemp with the rebound.
Rodman not getting to the offensive glass. Sure, he has the space to floor. He's a safety in transition, but you got to pound that offensive glass if you're Rodman.
Illegal defense called on Chicago. Sparked up Sonic team here at the start. Timeout is called. Standing ovation for the Seattle Sonics with 5:50 remaining first quarter. It's the Sonics with a 10-8 lead.
Here's the outlet pass attempt by Pippen, picked off nicely and deflected by Hawkins, and the Sonics are starting to play their type of game.
For Seattle coach George Karl, it's been a very difficult stretch. George constantly being asked understandably, to defend his team's play. Here's his response.
No one thinks we're going to win. And it's just an opportunity to show our hearts. That's it. I think my team's got big guts, a lot of guts. And it's, I mean, after Sacramento, 1-1, Die Hard 3 was the theme in Seattle. We win Sacramento. After you blowing the 5th game in Utah, you know, here they go again. What does this team got to do to show it? It has shown class this season. I don't know. You know, I don't know. Does it mean we got to beat Chicago 4 straight? That'd be great. I'll take that. I think they'd believe after that.
Well, no question this team has had a terrific year. I don't think anybody can question their guts or their character. The big problem is they're just not as good as this Chicago Bulls team, period.
And ultimate respect comes with winning championships.
Well, Matt finally turned your microphone off, Bill. I've been waiting for this. Shawn Kemp not able to hit. You all right? And here is Gary Payton from downtown. We have our audio people checking it out immediately. Sonics 13 and the Bulls 8. Jordan. And that shot attempt waved off. Mike Mathis with the call indicating that Gary Payton extended a knee. And that is his first foul.
And Bill, earlier you felt that Dennis Rodman got that technical foul on purpose. I totally disagree. That puts him in jeopardy, puts his team in jeopardy, because throughout a basketball game, he is going to be involved in a lot of altercations with players. He cannot afford to be thrown out of this game.
His life is jeopardy.
11-2 run by Seattle. Loose ball foul is called. It's on the Sonics. It's on Brickowski. First substitution for the Bulls. Toni Kukoc checking in.
Brickowski and Rodman working away from the ball. Obvious elbow to the face by Brickowski. Those elbows, you got to keep them in the chest area. Everything down in the torso is totally legal.
Oh, the steal by Brickowski. Coming over to help on the double team. Nice pass. The block by Longley to stop Kemp. Crowd looking for a goaltend. Now Kemp going at Longley. Draws the foul. Shawn Kemp, who has done it offensively over the first 3 games. And they're very upset after game 3. In fact, he questioned his teammates' desire.
And well, he should have. I mean, that's what leaders have to do. Would have helped if Shawn would have come out and taken 20 to 25 shots of his own. He only took in the low teens.
Well, the Bulls going to the double team the other day as Hawkins is able to hit on the spinning jump shot to extend to a 15-8 Seattle lead.
It's so much like Game 4, Chicago at Orlando, where Orlando came out down 3-0 in a similar situation, and Chicago closed them out at the very end.
Jordan went to the left hand as he was met on the switch by Brickowski, and a foul is called. For Brickowski, it is his second. There was some question about Frank Brickowski's status for tonight's game. His flagrant fouls on Sunday, as you see the foul committed by Frank Brickowski. Those flagrants would have meant a suspension, but the league ruled that the flagrant foul committed in Chicago Friday was downgraded from what is called a level 2 to a level 1. Level 2 counts as 2 points against the players, totaling 3 in one series would mean an automatic suspension, but Brickowski given only a level 1 foul each time he was ejected, so he was able to throw them out.
Well, George Karl had to be very happy with what Brickowski gave the Sonics in the 3rd quarter of Game 3. That's the best the Sonics played. So he put that in the memory bank, wanted to start him in this game, and he did serve as a steadying influence. He can spread the floor, he can take the big man away with the threat of the three-pointer, and you know he's going to throw his body around the hoop.
But like all players, Brickowski needs consistent minutes.
Hawkins for 3. Well, Hersey Hawkins, who has not been able to break out in this series, has hit 2 of his first 3. And the Sonics 3 of 6 from downtown. Longley with his second field goal. Sonics lead by 7.
Well, so much of the pressure is off Seattle from the standpoint of winning this series. They just have to try to win one game. And when that pressure is off, it's a little bit easier to start shooting those jump shots. You feel a little at ease.
But you'd think they would take that attitude from game 1.
Loose ball foul called on Kemp. So Gary Payton is now 2 of 6 from the field. And Payton has attempted 5 3-pointers. Longley to the line, but the Sonics over the limit.
And Luke Longley took a very hard fall as his feet got taken out from under him, fell hard on his back and appeared to have the wind taken out of him. But he gathered himself very quickly. He doesn't want to have to hear again from Michael Jordan as he did in game 2. Longley on a box out here. His feet go out from under him and hard on that back area, as when he took that shot in the eye for 5 stitches, Michael Jordan said, stop feeling sorry for yourself and get in there and return all that aggressiveness to the other team. So Longley popped up as quickly as possible and walked to the free throw line.
Luke Longley, 1 for 1 at the line. Dennis Rodman taking a seat. Steve Kerr has come on for the first time. So the Bulls with Longley, Pippen, and Kukoc along with Jordan and Kerr. We come up on 3 minutes remaining in this first quarter. Seattle with an 18-13 lead. David Wingate, who got the call early rather than Vincent Askew, as Hannah Storm reported earlier would be the case, and a foul on Kukoc. That is his first. It leads to a Chicago timeout. 2:53 remaining. First quarter, the Sonics desperately looking for their first win in the series.
Welcome back to Key Arena, where the Sonics lead the Bulls early in this game, 18-13. A very positive huddle by George Karl, telling his team to keep their energy up in this game. That is what he was most concerned about coming into this game. He said, show them that we can play just as well as they can. Marv?
All right, Hannah. Yes, the Bulls took the energy out of this building in Game 3 on Sunday. The Bulls came out with the mentality and the edge that the Sonics did not demonstrate. And the Sonics hitting some shots here in this first quarter, lead 18-13.
And Marv, they're getting him off of good passing and ball movement, something that's not happened in this series. Sonics have turned it over more than they've generated assists.
You saw the ball movement right there. David Wingate from Gary Payton.
And the reason for that easy ball movement and all the open shots is all the double teaming that Chicago is doing, something that they did very little of in the first 2 games.
Pippen working on Hawkins. Pippen off the recovery. And Longley with the tip. The Sonics were looking for offensive interference.
Marv, Scottie kept that alive with a terrific second jump. Quickly, looked like he might have taken it off the rim, Scottie, the first time.
The Sonics are so small right now with Perkins and Schreff as their only big people. They could get hammered on the boards.
2015, Seattle. Luke Longley has scored Chicago's last 6 points. Ball deflected out of bounds. Let's check in with Ahmad Rashad. Ahmad?
All right, Marv, Phil Jackson telling his team that they were playing good at that time. He said that they expected this kind of a thing from the Sonics because of the crowd noise and all the energy. If they can just hang close, that they figure that the Sonics will wear it down and they'll be in good shape going into the second quarter. Marv?
Thank you, Ahmad. Sam Perkins, line drives it home, and the Sonics lead 22-15. Off the steal, Payton got the step, leading Schrempf, and he is fouled. That is number 2 on Longley. And here is Nate McMillan. George Karl hoping that this needs even more of a lift. Nate McMillan, bothered by the bad back, it was thought he'd be out the entire series after sitting out games 2 and 3. Nate McMillan, such an important player for this team over the course of the regular season.
It's nice to get this emotional lift from the standing ovation of the crowd, but Nate's going to have to keep it going with some good, solid basketball play. And with that very painful back, he told me beforehand, it's still killing him, but he's basically got to do whatever he can to help. I've been there before, Marv. That's a horrible situation to be in.
They are chanting for Nate McMillan. Sonics 23, the Bulls 15 with a minute 20 to go in this first quarter. Bill Wennington has replaced Luke Longley. The matchup, Wennington and Perkins. They double up on Kukoc and a foul against Seattle. It is on Wingate. Sonics over the foul limit.
Well, the energy of this crowd is transforming to the Sonic players on the floor. This is the best stretch, other than the third quarter in Game 3, of physical, tough, in-your-chest defense that we've seen from the Sonics. And that's the way they have played all year. But inexplicably, they came out in the first 2.5 quarters of the series, and we did not see that kind of aggressiveness.
And Ron Harper checking back in, replacing Michael Jordan. Quiet start by Michael. 1 of 3 from the field, 1 of 2 from the line.
And a completely different attitude in this game from Game 3, where in Game 3 he was so aggressive and so clearly motivated and driven to establish the Bulls' presence here.
Yes, he came out with a burst and had his best game of the series with 36 points and 5 assists. 1 minute to go in this first quarter. Perkins working inside. He thought he was fouled.
More back to Jordan. That's one of the reasons why I think he's a better player today than he's ever been before. He knows how to pick his spots better. He's so much smarter. A beautiful pass by Kukoc to the slashing Harper.
And a nice finish by Ron Harper. 23-19 Seattle. McMillan, Payton, Wingate, Perkins, Schrempf. Nice pass. Setting up Payton.
Well, this is what Gary Payton has been calling for, and saying a big problem for Seattle, not having McMillan. Those are the kinds of plays he makes for Gary.
Sonics by 6. Wennington, he's had the touch. Bill Wennington hitting on his first field goal attempt. And the Sonics lead by 4. And despite what appeared to be an onslaught by Seattle, it's only a 4-point lead.
These Bulls, they're pretty good, Marv.
Once again, a keen observation by Bill. McMillan trying the 3. Rebounded by Kukoc with time running down, and a travel is called. Still time remaining in the quarter. Traveling violation. The Sonics get it back in their front court.
Phil Jackson can't believe it. Joe Crawford, the official in the slot on the other side of the floor, can't believe it because he saw the whole play. Actually, Kukoc just bumped into one of the Seattle players.
They put a second back on the clock. 2.1 remaining. Time for a shot. Perkins does get it off. After a quarter of play in Game 4 of the NBA Finals, it's the Sonics 25 and the Bulls 21. You are watching the NBA on NBC.
This is the NBA on NBC, the 1996 NBA Finals.
On to the second quarter here at Key Arena. Marv Albert, Matt Guokas, Bill Walton, Mod Rashad, Hannah Storm, Bob Costas. The Seattle bench most disappointing over the first 3 games. Sam Perkins leading the way with 36. Only 20 field goals made, 18 turnovers, almost as many turnovers as field goals over the first 3 games of this series. The bench in the first quarter with 4 points. Chicago with 4, Seattle with 4, and the Sonics have a 25-21 lead.
Ahmad was just telling us that Jordan was telling him, Ahmad, that he was going to wait and see how the game developed before he tried to take over. He did that in game 1. In game 3, excuse me. That's quite a job Ahmad's got. He gets to go and ask Michael Jordan during the game, how's it going?
All right, Sam Perkins extends to a 27-21 lead. Michael Jordan back on the floor. He and Steve Kerr in the backcourt with Wennington, Rodman, and Kukoc. Miscommunication. And the ball back to Seattle.
6th turnover for Chicago already in the game. A big key for Seattle and why they're playing well and winning. Only 1 turnover.
Opening minute, second quarter. Nice pass from McMillan. So Nate McMillan standing at the top of the key. You're not going to see much movement, but he is able to find people on the go.
Terrific assist-to-turnover ratio for the Sonics.
Jordan. On the back tap, it's handled by Payton. Wingate running the floor, but Payton finds Perkins. Wingate. Perkins stepped out of bounds or was pushed out of bounds. He was pushed. And a foul against the Bulls.
In the earlier games, I don't understand why Detief Schrempf couldn't have played this role, handling the ball up at the top. Not necessarily off the dribble, but he's a tall man, 6'10", able to make that pass. Obviously, McMillan is a better passer, but Schrempf is not that bad.
Wennington was called on the foul.
But earlier, Seattle was just standing around. Today, they're moving without the ball.
Perkins, Schrempf with the tip. And now Seattle has opened up a 10-point lead. Again, a bad pass. Toni Kukoc thought he had a teammate. It is another Chicago turnover.
Bulls totally out of sync, and it's because of the pressure defense, the overplay. The Bulls are cutting back door. The passers aren't reading.
6 unanswered points by the Sonics in the midst of another run. Payton for 3. Yes. The Sonics by 13. And the Bulls want to talk it over.
The NBA on NBC is brought to you by Sprite. Image is nothing. Thirst is everything. Obey your thirst. Sprite. By the car you can depend on. The 1996 Mitsubishi Galant. And by IBM, worldwide Olympic sponsor.
While the Bulls sensing that Bill Wennington cannot handle Perkins inside, Michael Jordan coming down to bother, but leaving Gary Payton wide open, who coming into this game 1 for 10 from downtown, is now 3 for 6 from beyond the arc.
Well, I'd have to say a self-effacing woman.
Gary Payton finally having that breakout game that they've needed from him from game 1. Been badly outplayed, a non-factor offensively, taken off Jordan.
Now it is David Wingate defending Michael Jordan. 13-point Seattle lead. Kukoc for 3. Schrempf chased by Kerr. The Sonics able to fast break the Bulls and lead now 36-21.
Oh, that long jump shot by Kukoc, absolutely no floor balance for Chicago. Very unusual.
Kerr not able to hit the 3. Pippen gets the new 24. Kukoc. So So Toni Kukoc with his first field goal. It's the Sonics leading by 13.
Chicago's playing this game like they didn't even think about playing basketball until they got here tonight. They're flat-footed and not sharp at all.
Rodman with the rebound. Seattle Sonics looking to stay alive and force a Game 5 here. And Schreck to the ball. The Bulls with visions of coming up with the sweep and a playoff run of 15-1, which would cap off the 72 victory season.
He'll be coming out holding the Stanley Cup. We have introduced the majority of the players and Mark Crawford. Stefan said he's back at goalkeeper. For the captain, Joe Sackett, who for the first time tonight will show this crowd here. The Stanley Cup. In the history of playoff hockey, absolutely brilliant in Game 4 of the finals. Its third Stanley Cup, number 33, Patrick Roy.
the TV voice of the Avalanche, along with my counterpart, Mike Hayes, and would like to welcome everybody tonight to this wonderful celebration. You know what? Not only do we have the best hockey team in the world, we have the best hockey fans in the world right here in Denver, Colorado. Hey, Colorado fans! How good does it feel? To kick things off today, please welcome Colorado's own Hazel Miller.
You're listening now to Mike Haynes, the radio.
Well, as a member of the Detroit Pistons for 7 years, a different look. Dennis Rodman on 2 Piston championship teams. And here is the Dennis Rodman of the Chicago Bulls. Dennis did the job in the finals with the Pistons and has upped the figures with the Bulls, although he has been very quiet in his 14 minutes of play in the first half. For Rodman, only 2 rebounds to this point.
But he's become the David Bowie of basketball.
And a foul is called. It is on Harper.
Well, the Sonics are working this curl play to death as Nate McMillan loves to make that pass from the top, and Gary Payton doing an excellent job, and the Bulls have not seen the Sonics run any kind of set plays. They don't know how to react.
Schrempf able to recover. 5 minutes to go. I should say 5 minutes gone by in the second quarter, and the Sonics lead by 14.
Good job by Longley going to the ground for the ball. Far too many players just reach over and try to pull it in.
Shot clock is down to 5. From Kemp. He is 4 of 8. He is 8 points and obviously getting the shots off in contrast to what took place in Game 3 here on Sunday. And Seattle now 7 for 9 from the field in the second. Pippen not able to hit on that three-point attempt. Schrempf running the floor.
Chicago's shooting is so off. I mean, every one of them is short. Rodman's not getting to the offensive glass. They look like they're not concentrating at all. So uncharacteristic.
They are now 10 of 25 from the field, 40%. Foul on Payton, that is his second. And here comes Hersey Hawkins for Nate McMillan. An ovation for McMillan.
Jordan trying to get post position and good pressure inside there by Gary Payton, but the whistle blows anyway. But the reason Chicago's shooting is off, the pressure is more intense. Less double teaming, more defenders staying with their own man.
Here is Jordan. And Michael Jordan with his third field goal. He has 7 points.
I disagree with that, man. I just don't see Chicago having that edge they had in this Game 3 Sunday night. They think, as all players do, at a 3-0, it's over.
Schrempf. At left, Schrempf, who's been very active in this first half. 7 points, 16-point Seattle lead. Here's the lead for Jordan. And a foul. Foul on Jordan. Called for a push. And has some words with the official, Mike Mathis. Jordan trying to get to that alley-oop, that lead pass, pushed off.
Well, there's the overplay, and this is an automatic push Chicago, and you can see why Michael Jordan would object to this call. He absolutely did not push off on that play and argue with referee Mike Mathis about it.
And received a technical foul. So Hersey Hawkins hitting on his second tee. 36 remaining in this first half, and the Sonics now lead 44-27. Biggest lead of the game for Seattle, and obviously the biggest lead they've had during the course of this NBA Finals series. Deflected out by Pippen. Bulls' biggest deficit of the entire playoff run was against Orlando, down by 18 in Game 2. Pippen with the rebound. They did come back to win that game, as Bill, you mentioned earlier. Longley working on Perkins, called for steps.
Now Luke Longley is hesitating right now. A good defensive job by Perkins to keep him from turning to the middle and turning to the baseline, caused the shuffle of the feet. That little hesitation will throw you off. In the first few games, Luke Longley was taking it quickly.
Michael and Scottie have got to start taking this game over offensively for Chicago. Spread the floor, let them create and get to the hoop.
Hawkins with the step. Crowd looking for a travel on Rodman. Here is Jordan. Well, Michael Jordan now 3 for 7. Kemp and Pippen in a battle. Kemp looking for the position and fouled by Pippen.
Well, you can see the mindset of the referees coming into this ballgame. The quick technical on Dennis Rodman in the first quarter. Here, Kemp and Pippen fighting for position, just throwing an elbow at each other. And a good call by Mike Mathis there, cleaning it up in the post.
But that's just good playoff basketball. I mean, there's nothing illegal about standing there and leaning into a player. These are Scottie Pippen and Shawn Kemp. Let them play. It's the NBA Finals, please.
Kemp sitting down now. Brickowski has come on, and a foul on Brickowski. That is his third.
Well, there, Brickowski and Rodman in the same situation. The last one was called a double foul. This time, Brickowski gets nailed.
Jordan not able to hit. Longley, Luke Longley, 4 of 5, 10 points. And the Sonics lead 44-29.
Well, this is obviously the most basketball Luke Longley has ever played in his life, and it's really paid off. His skill level extremely high right now.
had his ups and downs earlier during the playoffs. Terrific game in Game 3 on Sunday and has had the good first half. Longley reaching in, called for the foul, trying to knock it away from Perkins. So for Longley, that is his third.
Well, Sam Perkins was very upset early in the series that the few times the Sonics went to him, he produced, and then they stopped going to him.
Perkins, three. The Sonics, who have had huge problems from three-point land, 6 of 11 from downtown in this first half, and they now lead by 18 points. Pippen, rebounded by Perkins. Nate McMillan getting set to check back in. Violation against Seattle. 2 minutes and 58 seconds to go in the first half. Sonics 47, Bulls 29.
Back here in Seattle, and here's what's coming up on the Prudential Halftime Report. We'll be joined live by 2 of the NBA's all-time greats, Magic Johnson and Larry Bird. Between them, they played in 14 NBA Finals and won 8 titles. They'll talk about this Chicago Bulls team and its place in basketball history. And another of the all-time greats will join the discussion, Julius Ervin. His Sixers battled Bird's Celtics in the East and 3 times bet Magic and the Lakers in the Finals. All very interesting, but right now the Bulls trail the Sonics by 18. Back to courtside we go to rejoin Marv, Matt, and Bill.
Thank you, Bob. And the Sonics have outscored the Bulls 22-8 here in the second quarter. Let's check in with Hannah Storm. Hannah?
Marv, you see Nate McMillan back in the game. He has not sat on the bench this entire game. The only way he can play with that painful back injury is to head straight into the locker room when he's not playing. He's stretching in there. He is walking on a treadmill. He has to remain active the entire time because this injury is much too painful to allow him to sit on the bench. Marv?
Thank you, Hannah. Michael Jordan now 3 of 9 from the field. We have 2.5 left in the first half. Kukoc for 3. So Toni Kukoc hitting from downtown, and the Sonics now lead 47-32. Chicago's first three-pointer of the night. 1 of 8 from downtown. Perkins, yes. Sam Perkins with 9 points. Sonics by 17.
We have talked so much about how difficult it is to guard Perkins. He's got a good low post game, and he can take big people away from the basket and nail the 3.
The questions for Seattle answered tonight on the offensive end. Their defense has been virtually spectacular. Scottie Pippen, such a quiet game. 1 for 5.
Minute and a half to halftime. Schreck working on Kukoc. Jordan over to help. Schreck. It is all working for the Sonics.
This is the Sonic team that played against the Houston Rockets in the second round and swept them, the 2-time defending champion Houston Rockets.
It is a travel on Kukoc. That is his 4th turnover.
Well, now the Chicago Bulls doing exactly what the Sonics did in the first game and the third game. Just totally out of sync, terrible passing. Offense just looks horrible.
The Bulls with their 10th turnover. Sonics with just 4. Wingate will just check back in. Shot clock at 6. Schrempf again double team. Perkins. Are you getting the idea? It's Seattle's night.
Absolutely, Mark. They're playing perfect. When that kind of shot goes down, back up to half court, try one. Heat check.
Nate McMillan called for the foul, his first with 28 seconds remaining in the half.
Perkins did it from the inside, and as we said before, he can step outside. He never was really set there. He just caught, saw the 1 second on the shot clock, and flipped it up.
Judge Buechler making his first appearance. Dennis Rodman departs. Seattle has outscored Chicago 28-11 in the second. And the chant for defense continues. Well, the Seattle fans have seen much of that in this first half. They have bottled up the Bulls. Crowd looking for an offensive foul on Pippen. Final seconds of the half. Hawkins pass intercepted by Buechler. Traveling violation with 1 4/10 seconds remaining.
Terrific hustle play by Judge Buechler to stop that fast break opportunity in these closing seconds to get the steal. Just could not gather his step and get under control.
Well, they've reset it to 2.2 to go, and a timeout called by the Sonics. Back at Key Arena in Seattle. One of those halves for the Chicago Bulls that has rarely been seen in this 95-96 season. They have been overwhelmed by Seattle. Sonics with a 53-32 lead. 2 2/10 seconds to go. In the first half, McMillan will throw in. Perkins fires it up. So the Bulls with only 11 points in the quarter, their lowest scoring quarter in the playoffs. And the Sonics with a 53-32 lead, and they are hearing it from this crowd. A standing ovation as both clubs head back to their locker rooms. Bob Costas with the Prudential halftime report right after this.
Prudential Halftime Report, brought to you by Prudential. Live well, make a flag, be your own rock.
Halftime of Game 4 at Key Arena with the Chicago Bulls, who have lost only one game in this postseason, and that in overtime, trailing Seattle by 21 points. Bob Costas back along with Julius Erving. The recent pantheon of NBA greats certainly includes Doc and Michael Jordan, and it also includes Larry Bird and Magic Johnson. Larry joins us from French Lick, Indiana, and Magic from Beverly Hills. Now, it seems a little awkward to talk about the Bulls as one of the best teams of all time when tonight they're clearly not even the best team on this court. But let's assume that eventually they're going to correct themselves, if not tonight, then before the series is over. And we go to Larry Bird first. Larry, your take on this Bulls team and where it would rank against the great teams that you played with and against in the 80s.
Well, I think this Bulls team is one of the best teams that I've ever seen. Of course, anytime you play on a championship team, you think that team is so special that it can beat anybody. But after watching the Bulls over and over this year, I think that they rank up there with some of the best that ever played. They have to be, because they won 70-some games and just lost 11. And obviously they're going to win this series as it goes on.
Larry, I think a matchup between your 86 Celtics especially and these Bulls would be very interesting, and no guaranteed win for Chicago with the front line that 86 team had, plus Dennis Johnson and Danny Ainge in the backcourt.
That's true. I think that's the reason that that we might do some good against them, because we did have the height advantage and our front line was so unbelievable with Kevin McHale and Robert Parrish and Dennis Johnson in the background and Danny Ainge. And I think our only downfall at the time was Bill Walton was coming in as our sixth man.
Although that was a season where for once he was healthy. I think he played in 79 or 80 games that year. One thing that strikes me as... Oh, go ahead, Larry. Go ahead.
Well, Bill was healthy when he wanted to be. You know, he played an awful lot of games and a lot of minutes for us that year, but at times we had to beg him to play for us.
We're having a little bit of technical difficulty hooking up with Magic Johnson, so we'll stay with Larry Bird right now. One similarity, I guess there are many, but one that strikes me between you and Michael Jordan, Larry, is that killer instinct, totally ruthless on the court. You had that, and Michael does too.
Well, that's awful nice, Bob, comparing me to Michael Jordan. I think that anytime you have a team down, you got to go ahead and put them away. Michael wants to win this game tonight more than any game he's played in this series because he knows this is a crucial game. He wants to get out of Seattle. He wants to get back home playing golf and taking the summer off. This is a very crucial game for him, but it looks like they probably won't win this one, but I guarantee you they'll have a good shot in the next one.
Larry, were you able to intimidate Michael Jordan at all early in his career?
I don't know. I never really said much to Michael. I hear all these things that people say, but I was a competitor. I played hard against the great players. Michael was a great player, and I just tried to do the best I could against him. I didn't have the athletic skills that Michael has. I couldn't jump as high or run as fast, but I had to make it up in other areas. And at times I did well, and other times I didn't do as well as I like to. But overall, I had a good career, and I'm very pleased with the way things went.
Julius, one thing for sure, you had Larry and Magic to test yourselves against. There's nothing comparable to that quality of competition at the top for these Chicago Bulls. Through no fault of their own, they don't have the Celtics and the Lakers like you did.
Well, they don't have a steady diet of those two teams, but certainly they have Orlando, they have the New York Knicks, the Indiana Pacers, and you can't say little about the Houston Rockets, as being a cupcake team. They're a very, very good basketball team. But we had a steady diet of Milwaukee, Boston, LA in the finals 3 times before finally breaking through in the 3rd time. And just to, kind of reiterate a little bit about what you and Larry are talking about, even though I don't look that much older than those guys, I'm considerably older than both Larry Johnson and Larry Bird and Magic Johnson and Michael Jordan. And excuse me. So even though we played against one another on a competitive basis, I was playing near the end of my career, and the pre-Moses 76er teams were a lot different than the teams with Moses Malone. And that team knocked at the door, by going to the finals 3 times before, as I said, breaking through with Moses. And I think the team with Moses, which had the all-time best record, and probably will maintain it if the Sonics can hold on today, could have beaten any of these teams, the present-day Bulls, and certainly we proved ourselves against the Celtics and the Lakers.
The 83 76ers who went 12-1 through the playoffs. Let's see if we can hook up with Magic now. Magic, your thoughts on this particular Bulls team. You played against the first Bulls champion in 1991, but this Bulls team, where does it rank?
Well, I think they're definitely one of the best teams of all time in basketball, only because they can go out and full court press you and really defense, denying you, taking you out of your offense. So they're definitely one of the best teams of all time.
Let me ask you one quick one before we take a break here, Magic. Your team of the mid-'80s, with you in the backcourt, with Kareem up front, with James Worthy, with Byron Scott, with Michael Cooper for defense. Again, I think, interesting matchups, and by no means assured that the Bulls would beat that team.
Well, Kareem is the X factor because there's nobody that could stop him on their team. Then he would set up shots for everybody else. I think Larry made a good point about his Celtic team, the same thing. The only way you can beat this Bulls team is to have a dominant front line, and that's what we had, and that's what the Celtics had, and of course Dr. J with his team with Moses. So it would have been probably a great finals, a great series, but at the end I think Kareem would have ended up winning it for us, maybe in a game 6 or 7.
We'll take a short break here and then return. More with Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, and Julius Erving after a message from Prudential and a word from the NBA. And we're back, halftime at Key Arena. Larry Bird is with us from French Lick, Indiana, and Magic Johnson from Beverly Hills, and Julius Erving just to my right. Let's resume the conversation. Larry, we know that this Bulls team is on the short list of the great teams of all time. But what about the overall quality of the NBA in the mid-'90s? How do you think it stacks up to a decade or so ago?
Well, I think the expansion teams has really hurt the league. I think it's depleted some of the talent in our league. But, you got to give the Bulls all the credit in the world. They've won a number of games, and it looks like they're going to win the NBA championship. So you got to give them all the credit in the world. They're a great basketball team. They got 3 players, and Jordan and Pippen and Rodman, that are very focused, and they come to play every night. they're tough, and they got a chance to do something no one's ever done before, and you have to give them all the credit in the world.
Doc?
I think, Bob, one of the things you got to consider when you talk about this Bulls team is that all year long they've been giving the fans of the basketball world a glimpse of the future, what the NBA is going to be like in the 21st century. It's going to be an international league, and they have 2 of the 3 best American players on their team. They have the best player ever playing from Croatia. They have the best player ever from the country of Australia. So we're getting a sneak preview of what it's going to be like in the 21st century.
And one last question for Magic before we get out of here. If, in fact, they're giving us a glimpse of the future, they're also connected to the past, Magic, because they play with an appreciation for the game and the proper approach that I know makes old-timers feel good about their success. Not that you're an old-timer necessarily.
Well, there's no question about it. I am so excited about when I watch Chicago because look at the team. They're made up of veteran players and role players who know their role. They have 3 superstars. The other players play their role. And they're going to teach the Orlando Magic, the Seattle Supersonics, the other young teams, really teaching them how to win and how to play basketball on the highest level. And that's why I love watching the Chicago Bulls, because there's Ron Harper, who I'm happy for. They got James Edwards, John Salley, all these guys, along with Kerr and Buechler. They're all on one page and they're all for one goal. And if these young teams can understand that and get to that point, then like Julius said, the 21st century in the NBA is going to be exciting. So take note, young players, especially the Lakers and all these teams who are trying to get to that point. Look at the Bulls and figure out why they're winning this championship and why they won so many games this year.
Magic, as always, a pleasure. Thanks to you and to Larry Bird in French Lick, Indiana. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Always great to talk with both of you, and Julius Erving as well. One other note, just a short time ago, Marge Schott, the owner of the Cincinnati Reds, bowed to pressure from Major League Baseball and agreed to give up daily control of the team through the 1998 season. Schott had made a series of insensitive remarks, as you know, leading to today's action by Major League Baseball. Halftime in Seattle, the Sonics leading the Bulls by 21. We'll send it back to Marv Albert, Matt Gukas, and Bill Walton after these messages from your local station.
This has been the Prudential Halftime Report, brought to you by Prudential. Live well, make a plan, be your own rock.
Back in Seattle, the Sonics stunning the Bulls with a 53-32 lead as we head to the second half. Seattle outscoring Chicago 28-11 in the second quarter. As we look at the Miller Lite halftime statistics, only 38% shooting by the Bulls. Seattle 22 of 43, 51%. Look at Scottie Pippen, 1 of 8 from the field, only 2 points. Michael Jordan, 3 of 9 for just 7 points. And Seattle turning it around in the three-point field goal category. The Bulls only 1 of 8, and the Sonics 6 for 12. And Gary Payton, who had been very quiet, with a big first half. And we'll be right back. For the Bulls, this not a good sign. Luke Longley, the leading scorer, at 4 of 5 for 10 points. 7 for Jordan, 2 apiece for Harper, Rodman, and Pippen. Harper, bothered by the bad knee, you recall, did not start in Game 3, has not come out here as the starter for the second half, and the Sonics continue the good play. They now lead 55-32, 15 points for Gary Payton. 5-point men for Seattle. Payton leading the way with 15. Perkins off the bench for 11. Kukoc getting the roll, and Toni Kukoc with 7 points.
I think Phil Jackson kicking himself a little bit for what he did with the starting situation. He probably went with his heart, starting Ron Harper, wanting him to give him a chance to finish off. His head was probably telling him, start Toni Kukoc, which is what he's done here in the third quarter.
Payton. And back comes Pippen. Only 1 of 8 from the field in the first half. Jordan for 3. Rodman with the rebound. Feeding Pippen. Sonics lead 55-36.
Finally, Dennis Rodman makes some sort of contribution. Dennis is a player that plays on the edge. The edge has been dulled by the seemingly insurmountable 3-0 lead. Dennis needs to force it to be a lot sharper.
Schrepp with the air ball. The Bulls with only 11 points in the second quarter. That's their lowest scoring quarter throughout the playoffs. Rodman able to get to it. And calls for time. He was in trouble, could not find anyone. And took a 20-second timeout. Making contact with George Karl, brushing up against him as he went back to the Chicago bench.
Well, Dennis Rodman realizes he did not do much in that first half. Only one offensive rebound. Gets one here and finds Scottie Pippen nicely with the bounce pass. And nobody, I don't think, is quicker at his size at getting to loose balls as he chased that one down deep in that left corner and got the 22nd timeout.
But Dennis's game is about rhythm. It's about effort. We have seen none of that tonight.
The numbers on Rodman, 6 rebounds, 2 points. Jordan trying to shoot the Bulls back into it, but Michael has been off. Last touched by Schrempf.
And Michael is trying to shoot them in from the perimeter. When Michael is not hitting from the outside, he knows what to do. Drop that head, get to the basket, and either score or get to the foul line.
Jordan has missed his last 5 shots, 3 of 11 for the game. Guarded by Hawkins, now Schrempf over to help. Kukoc for 3. Yes! Toni Kukoc from downtown. He has 10 points, and the Seattle lead is now 16.
Finally, some decent ball movement for Chicago. It's been all Seattle. Seattle now with a 3-to-1 assist-to-turnover ratio. It's about time they got back to playing their brand of basketball.
7-0 run by the Bulls. Kemp fires. 10 points for Kemp. Sonics lead 57-39. They've led by as many as 23. Longley. Rodman with the tip. And the Sonics now lead 57-41. Mathis on the scene as Rodman and Brickowski came together, and Mathis and Crawford will talk it over.
This is very close to being a flop by Dennis Rodman. Brickowski obviously makes contact. Rodman tips the ball in, and Brickowski right there. That is a technical foul. Uncalled for by a skilled and good player, Frank Brickowski.
Well, you saw the first elbow by Dennis Rodman to incite something there, and then getting his head up against the Brickowski, and he bit the bait. Finishing off by pushing Rodman to the floor ever so slightly, but just enough for Rodman to make that play. But a good play by Luke Longley to take the ball to the basket and create some havoc.
So Brickowski was hit with the technical. Jordan cuts it to a 57-42 Seattle lead. Always dangerous when Kemp puts the ball on the floor. That's a traveling violation.
What I don't understand about Dennis Rodman is he can go down so easy sometimes, and then when he's playing against Shaq, the biggest, strongest guy in the game, he's out there battling, pushing, and never hits the deck.
Well, the Bulls have a 10-2 run. Rebounded by Kemp. Brickowski, Kemp, and Schrempf up front. Hawkins and Payton in the backcourt. Again, a travel. Down Brickowski.
Now, Brickowski's going to get the turnover here, but the pass was so late. He was in there waiting and waiting, begging for the ball.
A technical foul called on Detlef Schrempf, who apparently had something to say to Bill Oates. This was away from the play, but he was complaining about that last travel and several other calls that he felt should have been made.
Well, now each referee has gotten their technical foul. What I don't understand is why players don't sense who the referees are and how they are going to take control of the game. You could see early, Joe Crawford called the technical on Dennis Rodman right away, and then Mike Mathis a little later calling one on Michael Jordan. You have to be aware of what you can get away with the officials. In this game, you can't say a word.
Chicago Bulls very much back into it. They're down by 14 after trailing by as many as 23. Although Jordan has been off. He is now 3 for 12.
He's just not sharp in any aspect of his game. The rebounds, the defense is not that solid.
Kemp went to the crossover. That time fortunate to get away with a dribble that will not be considered pretty.
Well, a great crossover when you fake right and go left without putting the ball on the floor. That's a walk.
But the foul called on Pippen to bail him out. 4 minutes gone by in the third quarter. Kemp facing the double. Payton eluding Jordan. Kukoc. Sonics 59. The Bulls 43.
That play set up by Payton being hot from three-point land as again the referee's away from the ball. But Gary Payton drills some three-pointers early. Jordan's got to fly at him.
Foul on Brickowski, number 4. Frank Brickowski, the starter at center, rather than the usual starter, Ervin Johnson, who has not been getting the playing time and has been unhappy about it. Played only 3 minutes in game 3. Nice move by Kukoc. Toni Kukoc has been a factor here in the third quarter, starting instead of Ron Harper. And Kukoc with 7 of his 12 points in the third. The Sonics leading by 14. And the whistles are coming in very quick order. Foul on Rodman. That's his third.
Dennis Rodman getting up under the arm of Frank Brickowski, which he does so well. Billy Oakes would have none of it. He called the foul immediately on Dennis Rodman, who almost argued on the call. He'd have been gone.
Hawkins with the quick release. Hersey, Hawkins with 9. The Sonics by 16. The Bulls calling for time.
The NBA on NBC is brought to you by Nike, by Acura, who invites you to test drive the new flagship of Acura, the RL, and by New Miller Beer, the brand new beer from Miller with big flavor that goes down easy.
It is just past 7:45 here in the Pacific Northwest on a beautiful day. Temperatures in the 60s. It has not been beautiful to this point for Michael Jordan. He's missed his last 6 shots, 3 of 12 overall. Scottie Pippen just 2 for 10 from the field. 5 minutes have gone by in the third quarter, and the Sonics lead 61-45. They have led by as many as 23. Bulls with a run here in the third quarter that has been sparked by the shooting of Toni Kukoc. The chant of defense. Longley's pass too strong and picked off by Kemp.
Oh, Chicago offense has terrible spacing right now, in particular Luke Longley.
Phil Jackson a moment ago during that timeout upset with Longley. Here's Kemp. Yes! And the foul! The foul called on Longley.
We've seen Shawn Kemp grow so much and mature as he's coming and moves off the penetration. No double clutch there, just a good, strong power windmill dunk. If you can't stop penetration, there's no way your defense can react at the hoop when Shawn Kemp is coming to finish.
Longley with his 4th foul, 3-point play for Kemp. He has 13 points. Seattle has hit its last 4 shots, and they are up by 19. Randy Brown has just come on for the first time for the Bulls. This is Brown with it. Kukoc for 3. And back comes Payton, protecting the dribble on Pippen. Now played by Brown. Brown, a very strong defensive player. Payton goes right at him. And a nice setup for Kemp. Sonics by 21 points.
Seattle is
just getting to the hoop at will. Detlef Schrempf, Gary Payton. That sets up their three-point shots. That also sets up a strong, beautiful game by Shawn Kemp, who's reading that penetration and coming in behind the ball.
And you know the question coming into tonight regarding the Sonics, were they primarily in a happy just to be here posture? Well, they've answered that with their performance in Game 4. Payton was held. Will it count? Foul on Kukoc. Basket waved off, and Payton will shoot a pair.
Well, Scottie Pippen a little bit careless with this dribble, and Gary Payton, they call him the glove so quick, and fouled out at the top of the key, ruled a clear path to the basket, so Gary Payton will get those two shots. Phil Jackson has gone with a small lineup. The big one certainly wasn't doing much, but inserting Randy Brown, he wants to get more pressure on the ball because you know the Bulls have another run in them, but it's going to have to start at the defensive end.
Rodman battling for the rebound. For Dennis Rodman, that is only his 8th rebound. And you can see the difference in assists to turnovers. This was a very bleak statistic for the Sonics the first 3 games.
But they've absolutely turned that around. And Marbetta, you're happy to be here. Comment about Seattle. They're playing so much better because they are relaxed now and they're having fun.
Well, the pressure's certainly taken off coming into tonight's game, but I don't think that's what George Karl had in mind. Take the pressure off by going down 3-0 in the series. And a foul is called on Brickowski. That is number 5 on Frank.
Well, Frank has the job of trying to keep Dennis Rodman off the glass, and Dennis very active right now. And Frank is saying, hey, with all the grabbing, holding, pushing, and shoving, you're going to call that?
You see what the quickness of Dennis Rodman does in the anticipation. He stepped in knowing it was all about position early.
Pippen getting inside Schrempf, but then met by the double team as Perkins came over. Now they isolate Pippen on Schrempf. And Scottie Pippen with a nice move going glass. Sonics 67 and the Bulls 47. Only the 3rd field goal for Pippen. He's 3 for 12. Just under 5 minutes remaining, 3rd quarter.
They're just trying to post up Payton here against a shorter Randy Brown every time.
Back comes Pippen, has a 3-on-2. Jordan on the drive. Yes, and it counts. So Jordan will go to the line.
Well, it all started with a terrific hustle play by Dennis Rodman. He couldn't get the rebound, but he banged it off the glass and then spritzed the floor. But Michael Jordan determined he was going to get to the hole no matter what and no matter who he had to go through.
The ability of Jordan, though, to get in the air. He flies by one guy, absorbs the contact, and then still in perfect body control. The accumulation of all the great ones in history. Elgin Baylor, Connie Hawkins, Dr. J.
Well, Michael has been off. At the line now, 3 of 5. Blocking foul. Called on Brown, who was trying to draw the charge, anticipating, but it's called on Brown. And the Bulls are over the limit.
That's a good idea for the Bulls to put some pressure on. They haven't made their free throws enough. They haven't got to the line enough. If they're going to get back into this game, it's got to start on the defensive end, of course. But Pippen, Jordan, and Rodman have just not been factors defensively tonight.
Gary Payton has been an enormous factor right from the start. In his 6th season out of Oregon State, NBA's Defensive Player of the Year. And at the offensive end, he leads the way with 20 points. Sonics 69, the Bulls 49. Backdoor feed. Nice pass from Rodman to set up Jordan. And the Sonics breaking down in a hurry. Wingate's pass deflected by Pippen. Brown putting the move on Perkins, and he drew the foul.
Automatic play out of in the triangle offense. Anytime the ball goes into the post and you're in that corner area, you make that hard cut to the basket. Beautifully executed pass by Dennis Rodman, the bounce pass in stride. And the Sonics have been overplaying, and the Bulls should have been taking more advantage of that sooner.
Timeout is called by George Karl with 3:58 to go in the third, and Seattle leads 69-51.
And a storm at Key Arena where the Sonics lead the Bulls 69-51. Normally a couple of minutes ago in the normal Sonics rotation, Nate McMillan, who gave them such a big lift off the bench in the first half, would have been in this ball game. But Nate is still in the locker room stretching out that irritated nerve in his back. He told me that he tweaked the back injury at the end of the first half. Wasn't sure if he'd be able to be effective in the second half, although he would try to play. But as you can see in their normal rotation, Wingate's in the game instead of him. Marv?
Thank you, Hannah. And Vincent Askew, apparently in the George Karl doghouse, has not played well in the series. He's been unhappy about the lack of playing time. A strip attempted and a foul is called. It's on Wingate. Vincent Askew also was fined by his team and by the NBA for missing a mandatory half-hour session with the media.
$10,000 fine. Lots of people waiting to interview Vincent. They were mad.
Yes. We will not hear the thoughts of Vincent Askew after he missed the media session. There's Nate McMillan returning to the bench. 3:49 remaining in the third quarter, and the Sonics are up by 17.
And a big key so far, only 8 turnovers for Seattle. Chicago with 13 of them, leading to 20 points. Probably the biggest difference in this game.
Some pressure by the Bulls. And the Sonics able to handle it. Perkins. Yes. Foot on the line. It's a two-pointer, but Sam Perkins is on fire. 6 of 9 from the field. 13 points. Sonics lead by 18. Michael Jordan has scored the last 6 points for the Bulls. Nice look from Brown finding Rodman.
But Marv, a complete reversal of Seattle's fortunes. The press has killed them in the first 3 games. Now Detief, Schrempf, wheeling and dealing. Perkins killing them from three-point land.
Kukoc able to poke it away from Schrempf. Kukoc passed on the 3 and hits the 2 as he goes glass. Sonics now lead 71-57. Here's the pressure defense on Wingate as they try to trap him. Schrempf finding Perkins again with the opening. Pippen lets it go, and it will be Chicago's possession.
Even though Dennis Rodman didn't get that rebound, he did keep Sam Perkins from getting it. He did his job.
And Detief, Schrempf. Here's the applause from the crowd as he sits down.
Well, good things have been happening for Chicago when the ball goes inside to Michael Jordan.
Nice pass from Jordan, but Brown could not convert. Nate McMillan trying to put a move on Scottie Pippen, and Pippen is called for the blocking foul. The Bulls are over the limit. That's number 4 on Pippen.
Scottie not happy at all with that call. Felt he got the spot. Laid there a long time, but did not say a word to the referee here, sensing that it would have gotten him a technical foul. But he was moving backwards and took that little bump and flop.
Nate McMillan in his 10th NBA season out of North Carolina State. He had some injury problems at the start of the regular season, missed the first 10 games, recovering from ankle surgery. Co-captain of the Sonics. Would have been the clear-cut second option for defending Michael Jordan, but because of the back injury, his playing time has been limited. Sonics lead by 16. Brown open, and Pippen was able to find him.
Critical time for the Bulls right now. If they can get it down to within 10, they're down 14. If they can stay right at that 10-point difference at the start of the fourth, they'll be right there. They'll be happy with that.
And Bill, Seattle has led by as many as 23, so the Bulls in the midst of their second run. Kemp with the reverse and lands on Rodman.
just the quickness, power, and strength of Kemp too much.
That was a human facial. A minute 40 remaining. Third quarter. Sonics lead 75-59. And a technical foul being handed out by Bill Oakes. It's against Seattle. Gary Payton very upset. Well, a personal foul on David Wingate, and then a technical for the follow-up reaction from Wingate.
Actually, Wingate got away with a little extracurriculars a little while ago. He felt he had stripped the ball from Michael Jordan going up for the jumper and hopped up and downs and showed his disgust with the call. They let that one go. They weren't going to let him dance around on this one.
David Wingate receiving the playing time here this evening, moving past Vincent Askew, who has not played. Wingate has seen 12 minutes of action. Substitution for the ball, Steve Kerr coming on for Scottie Pippen.
In the post to Jordan, Wingate denying, holding, grabbing, reaching. They finally call that, and then he runs away, and that demonstration of disapproval earned him the technical. And with 3 straight free throws, that play works out to Chicago's favor.
Yes, the technical, and then the 2 for the personal foul with the Sonics over the limit. 75-62, Seattle. McMillan for 3. Yes. No one expected McMillan to play in tonight's game. Kemp trying to one-handed, and the showboat move nearly cost. Brown breaks it up. And the Bulls get it back. Here is Kerr. Brown on the follow is fouled.
Nate McMillan down as he took a hard fall, as he is really laboring to move very well, unbelievably shooting the ball well.
Inside-out offense, spots up for Nate McMillan on the 3. And then Randy Brown makes 2 terrific plays. First the steal to get the ball back, and then the offensive rebound off Jordan's miss.
Sonics, though, fortunate. This is not the time for Shawn Kemp to look for stylish points. And he, as a result, gave it away, but the Sonics were able to get it back.
Chicago really now in a gambling mode defensively. Running and jumping, trying to distract Seattle, but Seattle is getting a lot of good shots out of this. Chicago is almost having to hope that they miss these open looks.
Just under 1 minute remaining in the third. Wingate fouled by Jordan. A hard foul. It is a flagrant. And as we have been discussing throughout the series, Michael Jordan had been unhappy about a couple of moves made by David Wingate against him. Now this may have well been a payback.
He looked like he was going for the ball there. Just got his arms, and it was Wingate's momentum that took him out. That's the kind of play that Jordan will often come up with a block on. Payton continues to give up the ball way too much in the back, away from the foul line area.
Well, the good thing that Seattle is doing against this pressure is not being tentative. They're taking the open shot is there. In the backcourt pressure after free throws, they're getting the ball in the middle and attacking the rim. They had problems in the past 3 games with being oh so tentative.
Seattle with a 17-point advantage. Down to 50 seconds to go. Third quarter. Perkins. Who was able to get inside of Dennis Rodman.
Because Michael Jordan had picked him up on a switch and then left, and Rodman was helpless.
Jordan to the fadeaway. Rebounded by Rodman. Kukoc for 3. And it will be Seattle ball.
Marv, Seattle has answered every Chicago run this quarter. Charlotte didn't even make a run in the first half.
Hersey, Hawkins replacing David Wingate, being applauded for his hustle. Wingate hearing it from the crowd. 4 points for Wingate. The Sonics are shooting 55% for the game. Chicago just 41%. We're down to 10 seconds. 1 second differential with the shot clock. Perkins wide open. Set up by Payton. 6 seconds in the quarter. And the inbounds pass blocked by Hawkins. And now Brown will throw in from side court.
What are they doing taking the ball out underneath the basket? Get to the side of the board.
Standing ovation for the Sonics as this third quarter comes to a close. The Sonics 84 and the Bulls 63. We'll be back after these messages and a word from your local station. You are watching the NBA on NBC.
Telecast of the National Basketball Association may not be retransmitted, reproduced, or rebroadcast without the express written consent of the NBA.
On to the fourth quarter at Key Arena. The last 6 times that a team has had a 3-0 lead in the NBA Finals, they all won Game 4, including last season when the Houston Rockets made it a 4-game sweep over the Orlando Magic. The Bulls with a 3-0 lead coming into tonight, but the Sonics came out strong, continued the onslaught of the second quarter, outscoring the Bulls 28-11, and then a good finish to the third quarter for this big lead. Luke Longley, who just stepped back onto the court, now has 12 points, and the Sonics lead 84-65. Michael Jordan, as you saw, sitting it out here at the start of the fourth. So Brown and Kerr on the floor with Longley, Rodman, and Pippen. Kemp with the fake around Longley. That looked too easy.
Nice defense. The guy's right-handed. You go for a pump fake. The guy's not even shooting from outside, and you just give him a dunk, which he's been doing all night long.
21 for Shawn Kemp. Steve Kerr. Randy Brown for 3. 6 points for Brown.
Well, you know the Chicago Bulls have another run in them. Their goal is to get this thing within 10 points with about 4 or 5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter.
Sonics with Payton, McMillan, and Hawkins in a 3-guard alignment. Offensive foul. It's on Kemp. That's number 4.
He just turned his back and shoulders. A good call by the official, but he is just too quick for Luke Longley in that position. Luke Longley unable to bend his knees with any kind of lateral movement, but turning his back and shoulder to Steve Kerr, a good call.
But man, he's had that matchup all series long, and they haven't exploited it. Longley's done a good job of keeping Kemp in front.
Not in games 1 and 2.
Both won by Chicago.
That's true, but that's when the Chicago Bulls were not double teaming. They were content to give Kemp his points. The big problem, he was getting to the free throw line 16 times a game. They went to a little more double teaming in game 3.
Shot clock is down to 2. Pippen had it knocked away. It's a 24-second violation. It hasn't gotten much worse than this for the Chicago Bulls this season. 72-10 in the regular campaign, best record in the history of the NBA. In the playoffs, the Bulls swept Miami in 3, beat the Knicks in 5 in a tough series, swept Orlando in 4, and now seeking their 4th NBA title in 6 seasons. Foul is called on Longley. That's his 5th.
Well, one of the goals for Seattle coming into this ballgame was spread the offense, spread the floor, make the Bulls work harder on defense. And Gary Payton working at the top of the key, top of the floor area against a very quick defender on Randy Brown, but just too much space for Payton to operate.
21 for Payton, along with 9 assists. And the Sonics now lead 87-68.
Mark, the injury to Ron Harper takes a terrific size defender off of Payton, and Jordan is not having a good defensive game.
Harper bothered by the knee injury, did not start in game 3. Phil Jackson did go with him here at the start of game 4, but Toni Kukoc opened up instead of Harper in the second half. We have not seen Harper in the second half. Hawkins for Schreck. 3-point attempt. Yes. That left Schreck has 12. And again, the Bulls take a timeout. 9:23 to go in the fourth. A commanding 22-point lead for Seattle.
Miller, where great taste runs in the family, brings you Miller Moments.
Tonight's Miller Moment takes a look back at the 1991 NBA Finals, pitting Michael Jordan and the Bulls against Magic Johnson and the Lakers. And the series belonged to Jordan. After the Lakers took game 1, he led the Bulls to 4 straight victories. The clinching win coming 5 years ago tonight, as Chicago won its first NBA World Championship. In recognition of that moment, Miller Brewing Company will donate $1,000 to the Thurgood Marshall Scholarship Fund. Michael averaging better than 31 a game during that series against LA, up to 35.8, and then 41 a game against the Phoenix Suns. It has been a very quiet night here for Michael, who is back on the floor. Pippen for 3.
Notice, though, how Michael Jordan scores more the longer the series goes. That Lakers series, just 1 win for the Lakers. This series, 0 wins yet, although Seattle appears to be on their way to their first.
Just under 9 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. Shot clock at 4. Hawkins for 3. Hersey able to square up from straight away off the dribble. And he's opened up a 25-point lead. Joe Crawford indicating the pushing foul.
Now Scottie Pippen still doing the other things. 9 rebounds, 8 assists, having an awful night shooting the ball, and defensively back on his heels most of the evening, and Hersey Hawkins shook him away there.
All right, here's Kemp leading Hawkins. The Sonics taking advantage of another Chicago turnover and lead 95-68. Pippen hits the 3. So Pippen is now 4 of 14. He has 9 points. The Bulls' worst loss of the season, regular season and playoffs. Once again, Kemp gets inside. March 10th against the New York Knicks at Madison Square Garden. It was Jeff Van Gundy's second game as head coach of the Knicks. And the Knicks beat the Bulls 104-72. It counts and the foul, so Jordan will go to the line. Right here, the Bulls are down by 24 with 7:42 to go in this fourth quarter. Hawkins called for the foul here.
Well, a number of times when the ball has gone inside to Michael Jordan, good things happen. Not necessarily Michael always scoring, but that time he got it done. Other times he has got it with the pass out. But Phil Jackson has to be thinking right now when to pull the plug here and start gearing up for Game 5.
Jordan 6 of 17. He has 21 points.
Chicago's defense on Kemp in the low post has been just awful.
And the foul on Pippen. That'll put Perkins at the line.
Well, the reason for that, Bill, is so the perimeter defense has been horrible, and that's where it's got to start. And it's going to be a very easy film study for Phil Jackson and his staff and his team tomorrow. And just show, hey, guys, we are a great defensive team. We were not a great defensive team last night because we didn't do all the little things that get us going. The pressure on the ball, the physical bumping, the overplay and denial on the post, the helping out and the rebounding.
And the sad thing for Chicago is that you only get so many chances to make history. They had a chance to make history tonight.
You're talking in terms of going 15 and 1 during the playoffs, which would break that mark of 12 up and 1 down by the Philadelphia 76ers in 1983, the best run through the playoffs. Jordan, and it's tipped home by Rodman. Sonics lead 99-76. Bulls also coming into tonight with 5 straight wins on the road in the finals. Some pressure here by the Bulls. The 5 straight ties a record held by the Pistons, who did it back in 89 and 90. Shot clock at 5. Schremm. Jordan, played by Kemp. And he called for a discontinue. And he is in the face of Billows. Closing in on, well, that could have been a technical. He has already been hit with one. I saw it register on the face of Bill Oakes, and then he decided not to call it. But that could have easily been a technical foul and departure for Michael Jordan, and the Sonic bench very upset that it was not called a technical.
Well, all of Key Arena unhappy that a technical wasn't called as the mishandle by Michael, and then that called, and then this kind of reaction got the technical earlier.
If that was Rodman, he would have been gone.
The NBA on NBC is brought to you by Bud Light, official sponsor of the 1996 Summer Olympic Games. Make it a Bud Light. By Ford Escort. It's new and it's nifty. Made for the smart, the intelligent, thrifty. And by Hollywood Pictures' The Rock. Now playing at a theater near you.
Well, Michael Jordan coming down, fast break situation, thinking three-pointer, and from that angle, it looks like his right hand goes on the ball, and a discontinue was called. From another angle, it does not look like that right hand touches there. It didn't look like it touched, but that doesn't matter. That's beside the point. The call was made, but this kind of reaction was drawing technical fouls earlier in the game, and this is what the Seattle bench is complaining about. They're saying there is a double standard with Michael Jordan.
Yeah, but the idea of the ejections, the idea of throwing guys out, is guys who are abusing the whole game of basketball. That's certainly not Michael Jordan. Good non-call by the official.
Well, it's tough during the course of the action. How do you differentiate when a guy embarrasses an official? You say, well, because the guy normally doesn't do it, you don't call it. That's what you're saying.
But you're not going to throw out Michael Jordan for arguing a call.
Here's Steve Kerr for 3. So I disagree with that. Obviously, as a fan, and as you want to see Jordan in the game, but if not that necessarily should have led to ejection, but if there is something done which is normally called where a player is completely out of control, how can you leave him on the floor? It's complete double standard.
I don't think he was completely
No, I'm not. I agree with that. Right. Hawkins, and rebounded by Pippen. So the Sonics lead by 20 with 5.5 remaining in the fourth quarter. Rodman, two-handed layup attempt by Rodman, and Kemp and Rodman come together and a foul call.
Well, I think that technical early on the game on Dennis Rodman took a lot of steam out of him, as the officials were going to let him know that they were not going to stand for anything here. Just not really expecting the pass, not comfortable with the ball in that situation, trying to draw a elbow or something from Kemp, but realizing that Kemp has gotten the better of him in this game.
Schreff, Schreff with 14.
Again, Seattle breaking the press beautifully. Their offense continues. Kemp, Payton, Schrempf, the weapons are are just lighting everything up. Chicago now just flailing away.
Jordan fouled, facing the double team of Hawkins and Payton. Harry Payton now arguing the call with Joe Crawford as he collects his third foul. Joe apparently enjoying the discussion to a point. And Michael Jordan to the line. He's 9-for-11 at the line. Sonics lead 101-80.
I'm sure Michael Jordan is going to rethink his approach as he gets ready for Game 5. Coming out tonight trying to let the other players get involved, see what was going to be needed, and by the time he realized that he was going to be, couldn't get it done offensively.
Look at this by quarter. The shooting of the Sonics, sensational second, third, and fourth quarter. Timeout is taken. We'll be back at Key Arena in a moment. Marv Albert with Matt Guokas and Bill Walton. Ahmad Rashad, Hannah Storm working the sidelines. Bob Costas upstairs. And we have 5 minutes remaining. In this fourth quarter, the Seattle Sonics leading the Chicago Bulls 101-81. On their way to averting a sweep and headed to a Game 5 here in Seattle on Friday night. Shot clock down to 4. Hawkins, good play by Kerr to break it up. Rodman tried to call for time on the save, but stepped out, and it's Seattle ball with just 1 second on the shot clock. Payton will throw in. Try to deliver to Hawkins, and that is now a 24-second violation.
One of the few times tonight that Seattle has not gotten it done offensively. Remember, they're just averaging 88 points coming into this game. They got over 100 already, but it's not been done on the fast break. This is usually a fast-breaking Seattle team. They've only got 6 fast break points tonight.
Well, you know why, Bill? In that particular sequence, for some unknown reason, Gary Payton ran away from the ball, ran into the front court. Everybody else was handling it, and that has been part of the Bulls' strategy, and it's been successful. Get the ball out of Gary Payton's hands, make other people start their offense, and it has not been good when that's happened.
Sonics for the game shooting 57%. They double up on Jordan. Pippen for 3.
You see the closeout defense by Seattle that time. That's the mark of their... Oh, boy.
Wow. And that has been the mark of the Sonics here tonight, beating the Bulls down court. And Payton fed it up for Kemp. Sonics lead 103-81. Pippen for 3. Kerr gets it back out to Jordan. And play by Kemp. 3-second violation.
Well, this is what Gary Payton and Shawn Kemp have been doing for the last 5 years. They love to play above the rim, and Gary Payton delivers, and Shawn Kemp finishes.
Scottie Pippen sitting down. 4 of 17 from the field for Pippen, replaced by Kukoc. And Payton hit by Rodman, looking for support as he holds his chin.
It was interesting that time because the initial call was on Shawn Kemp for the offensive screening foul. On the continuation, Rodman leveled Gary Payton well after the whistle, though.
And the foul was called on Payton. We're down to 3:35 to go. Fourth quarter. Here is Jordan. Whoa, it is one of those nights for Michael. He is now 6 for 19 from the field.
And he just looked at referee Bill Oakes, and I think he said to him, "Do you believe that shot?" I think he is happy to get to the bench right now and gear up for Friday night.
Not a good idea to taunt Michael Jordan on the way to the bench after a poor game.
Well, he has been hearing it from the crowd. There was a sarcastic chant of Michael earlier.
I think they might see him again.
I believe Friday night, we will see Michael Jordan come out in different fashion. The Bulls just did not step on the court and start the game the way they did, obviously, in game number 3, foul on Rodman. And the Sonics were able to jump to that early lead. They had the crowd going for them. They're hitting their shots, the good ball movement, hitting it from downtown. And the Seattle Sonics with a very impressive performance here this evening.
The nice thing for Seattle is that it kept getting better. And they kept getting nicer plays. Rodman to the bench, to the extreme delight of the crowd.
Now it's confidence, and then when those outside shots started to fall, in particular for Gary Payton, the gates opened up.
Hawkins hit on a reach-in. We're down to 3 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. And Steve Scheffier about to check in. So George Karl going to the other end of the bench. This is Scheffier, who rarely gets the playing time, but it allows Shawn Kemp to receive a standing ovation.
Well, this Seattle team has taken their licks for the last couple of years, and even this year, which was a terrific regular season, winning 64 games. Seemingly, we're waltzing through the playoffs till Game 5 of the Utah series, and then things started to go poorly for them. The town, to some degree, turned on them, taking their hits left and right, and then getting behind 3-zip in this series. And everybody turning on again. This restores some respectability, and they can hold their head up for another couple of days.
And Gary Payton receiving the ovation. 21 points, 11 assists for Payton. Shawn Kemp, 25 points, 12 of 17 from the field, and several in spectacular fashion. Sonics lead 105-81. Wennington over Scheffier. Oh, Scheffier caught Buechler with a pickup high.
Chicago's big men have to call those screens out.
Schrempf adjusting several times on that shot. Here's Wingate for 3. And rebounded by Scheffier.
But how far has Ervin Johnson and Vincent Askew slipped in George Karl's mind? These guys cannot even get in a blowout game.
Standing ovation once again for the Sonics. Shot clock is down to 3. Hawkins, yes! Hersey Hawkins with a strong performance. 18 for Hawkins. Sonics lead 107-81. Kukoc. And here comes Perkins with a minute 35 remaining.
Seattle has established something here tonight. Now they got to fight off. Chicago has to fight off this crowd, which is going to be talking a lot. They'll be back into it.
Oh, the crowd wanted Steve Scheffier to come up with his first field goal. Wennington. Sonics lead 107-83. The Sonics led by Kemp with 25. He was 8 for 8. 17 of his 25 in the second half. 8 for 8 in the second half. Hersey Hawkins with 18. Gary Payton, 21 points, 11 assists. Sam Perkins off the bench for 17. On a night that has seen Michael Jordan shoot 6 of 19 from the field. Only 23 points. That's a 24-second violation. 48 seconds to go in the game. Timeout taken. Sonics headed to a 5th. A reminder, stay tuned for your late local news following our coverage of tonight's game. And then it's The Tonight Show with Jay Leno. And Jay's special guest will be George Foreman. For those of you who'd like to join us for post-game interviews and analysis, we invite you to tune to CNBC on your cable system immediately after the game. Michael Jordan had some words with Joe Crawford during that timeout. Still upset. Sonics lead 107-83. We're down to 40 seconds remaining in the game.
And Marv, that was the most intense look we've seen from Michael Jordan tonight, arguing with the referees. Not a good sign for the Bulls.
Randy Brown hitting on his second three-pointer for the game. And the Sonics now lead 107-86. The second quarter effort by Seattle, breaking it open. Good play by Brown, forcing the rookie from Michigan State, Eric Snow, to the sideline, and he stepped out of bounds. In the second quarter, Seattle outscored Chicago 28-11. And that catapulted them to the big lead. We're down to 15 seconds remaining in the game. Wennington. Scheffier to the rebound. Final seconds. The Seattle Sonics will not be swept. This will go to a fifth game on Friday night here in Seattle, starting at 9 o'clock Eastern Time, 6 on the West Coast here on NBC. Seattle shooting 56% for the night, and they win it 107-86. Let's go to Hannah Storm.
Shawn, you had criticized your teammates after Game 3, saying they gave up against the Chicago Bulls. How did you achieve such a complete reversal and get back to Sonics basketball in this game?
You know, I think we just came out. We played basketball for 48 minutes today, and you know, to win a championship, that's what you have to do. You have to play for 48 minutes, a complete game, and that's what we did today. And if we come back out Friday with the same type of intensity and energy, it'll be the same result.
How do you approach Game 5 now? Nobody expects you to come back and beat these guys 3 games in a row, and you know Jordan's going to have a huge game in all likelihood.
We just come back, try to play the same way. Everybody plays aggressive. Everybody plays defense. Everybody runs back. Everybody dives on the floor. You do what you have to do to pitch in and help your teammate out, and if we do that, our chances are great.
Did you sense that they were overconfident after the win came so easily for them in Game 3?
Yeah, we thought they were a little overconfident. We thought that we were losing our confidence, and the last thing that you want to do is make it to a championship series and not win a game.
You know, the ball movement seemed to really confuse them defensively. Was that a big difference for you offensively?
Yeah, I think so, and also we attacked their press. When they pressed us tonight, we attacked it, and we got better results.
Okay, Shawn, great effort, and we will see you in 2 days. Marv?
All right, Hannah, a magnificent night for the Rain Man. High scorer in the game with 25 points to lead the Sonics over the Bulls, and the Bulls now lead it 3-1. We'll be right back. Well, there will be a Game 5 here in Seattle on Friday night as the Sonics beat the Bulls here 107-86. You look back in NBA Finals history, not since 1951 as the team won the first 3 games and then lost game number 4. The New York Knicks down 0-3. We're able to do it to the Rochester Royals. That's our fact for the night, folks. Final score, Seattle 107 and Chicago 86. Stay tuned for the NBA Finals post-game show coming up immediately on CNBC. We'll be back at Key Arena here in Seattle for Game 5 on Friday night. Airtime is 9 o'clock in the East. Your late local news coming up next, followed by Jay Leno and The Tonight Show. So for Matt Dukas, Bill Walton, Ahmad Rashad, Hannah Storm, and Bob Costas, I'm Marv Albert. You've been watching the NBA on NBC.